Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures continued, issue number 17 from IDW. This is the beginning of a brand new arc, as well as the return of Mona Lisa. For anyone who doesn't remember Mona Lisa, she appeared in the original 80s run. Basically, she was a human, a college student, who got kidnapped by this pirate who used technology. And rather than having a ship, he had a submarine. And basically, he kind of like forced Mona Lisa to work for him. And at one point, she was like, she understood how evil he was and how he was going to try to take over the world. So she decided to try to destroy his machines. And in the crossfire, she ended up getting hit with mutagen, and she turned into this lizard creature. And she ends up like helping the turtles and stuff. So yeah, she's returning. And so we start off the issue with April, and she's reporting on this brand new item that the museum has gotten. This Egyptian item that the Egyptian government was more than happy to hand over to us for some reason. And there's this doctor who's the head of Egyptology, and April's basically asking, hey, you had this item for a while and you haven't shown it to the public yet. Is it like cursed or something? And she just mentions, no, the truth is actually that we haven't been able to fully reconstruct the piece, and we just want to wait for that to happen before we release it to the public to see. And we cut to the doctor later in her office. That's when Mona Lisa shows up. And it turns out that Mona Lisa was the doctor's student at one point in the past. And the doctor is upset because she's talking about how we have this item and we keep reassembling the item. But for some reason, every night, the item gets disassembled. And there's no alarms that are tripped. Nothing else is missing. We don't have any security or cameras or guards in the area, so we have no idea what's going on. All we know is that we're building this item, but every morning when we come back to work, the item is disassembled again. The Mona Lisa's like, well, if you want, I can play guard and see what happens, and I can even call some friends to help out. And then that's when we cut to the Turtles' lair, where Donnie is pissed off at Raph and about to kick his butt. Because basically, Raph spent months building this machine that would create pizza-flavored ice cream, which sounds kind of weird. I've had some weird ice cream flavors before. I don't know how I'd feel about a pizza-flavored ice cream, but hey, you know what? I'd be willing to give it a try. So yeah, Donnie's pissed off because Raph broke this machine. And so Splinter shows up and basically admonishes the two and tells Raphael that he's grounded, and he is going to stay grounded until he helps Donatello repair the machine. And Raphael is upset because there's this Brooklyn Food Fest, this person named Nia Tangs, who's going to be creating endless toppings for pizza. Like they have a pizza booth, and it's going to be a bunch of like weird, crazy toppings. And of course, Raphael wants to check it out. But Splinter's like, nah, you're grounded, so you're going to stay here. Meanwhile, me and the rest of your brothers are going to go and enjoy ourselves at the food fest. So they all leave him behind, and that's when he gets the call from Mona Lisa, and he decides to go help her out because it's better than just staying at home. So they're staking out the joint when they discover a mummy, and of course Raphael decides to go attack the mummy, but the mummy is not like your regular mummy. He's very, very fast. Like even Mona Lisa's not able to do too much, but they're able to distract him enough to knock him down, and he is able to speak English, and he basically says, I'm not a terrible person. I need to prevent the device from being rebuilt. Humanity is at stake. And he wraps up Mona Lisa and Raphael and basically explains his story. And his story is that thousands of years ago, he was the assistant to what would modern days call a scientist. Only back in the day, he was a mediocre one who didn't have a single discovery to his name. But then one day while they're out in the desert sands, they see this weird tear in the sky, and it turns out to be the turtles fighting Shredder. And Shredder ends up dropping this mutagen, which goes through the tear and ends up splashing both the scientist and the mummy. And the mutagen turns the mummy guy into a mummy, whereas before he was a regular human. Meanwhile, the scientist gets turned into this weird lizard creature with the exposed brain. And he turns out to be very, very intelligent as well as evil. I guess the mutagen just kind of like messed with him to the point where he became evil. And he created this device that would be able to imprison any enemy that he has inside of it forever. And he plans on using that to take over the world. And so the mummy explains that I can't destroy the item. Basically, what happened is I was able to trap the scientist within the item, and he had messed with it before I was able to trap him inside. So basically, what happens is if I destroy the item, then he will get released immediately. If the item gets fully assembled, he would get released. And the items can't be separated from each other like too far away. So I can't like scatter different parts of the items all across the world or anything. They have to remain in the same area. I just have to make sure that the pieces don't get assembled. And so every night I've been sneaking in to disassemble this piece, which kind of begs the question of why don't you just tell the doctor, like, hey, I can't have you assemble this, otherwise this mad scientist will come out and take over the world. But yeah, that's basically the gist of what's going on. And there's more, but I'm not going to spoil everything. It was fine. It was interesting. I liked it. I know, like, for some reason the series kind of seems to be one of those where either you enjoy it or you don't. I enjoy it. Like, it gives me the nostalgic feels. I grew up on the 80s cartoon series. That was my introduction to the Turtles, which is my favorite franchise of all time. From the 80s cartoons, I then went into the video games. I ended up buying like all the merch and board games and stuff like that. And then all the other cartoon series that came out and the movies and stuff. And it was only recently that I actually went back and read the OG comics. Like the only comics that I would read at the time was the Archie comics. So I never read the Mirage comics until just a few years ago. And anyone who's familiar with this channel, I've been covering those comics. If you haven't seen them already, I went through all of Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3, as well as like all the spin-offs that were involved in that. And I'm currently recording Volume 4, but it's going to be a while before that ever gets released. But yeah, basically, I grew up on this stuff. Like this is not a cartoon that I grew up on, but it's the same universe. It's the same type of like storylines and humor and wackiness that you would see. And so I have a soft spot for this. So my reviews might be a bit biased in that regard, but I enjoy it. I think it's entertaining. Artwork is fine. I know some people kind of complain about some of the artwork, and especially the human characters. I don't really have any problems with it. Like I just kind of go into this with like it's trying to recapture that 80s look, and it might not fully capture that look, but it's close enough. Stories are entertaining, if a little bit childish, but then again, it's based off of a cartoon series for kids. So I don't know what else you would be expecting, but yeah, I thought this was good. I'm a huge fan of like mummies and stuff. Obviously, I prefer like them in horror series, but I'm interested to see where this goes. Never was the biggest fan of Mona Lisa, but I don't hate her as a character. She's not like Jenica. Like I can tolerate Mona Lisa. I can't tolerate Jenica. I thought this was fine. I liked it. So there you go. There's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures Continued. Issue number 17 from IDW. It was an entertaining series. I'm looking forward to see where they're going to go with this mummy story. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.